Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Netta Irampur, and here at CBS 8, we are working for you. We're listening to any of your concerns. We want to investigate any questions you have and find solutions that matter in our community. So we are going to begin this show with all of the tourists that we expect to visit San Diego for the upcoming Memorial Day holiday weekend. Airbnb cracking down on so-called party houses. News 8's Shannon Handy working for you and shows us the technology behind their effort.
Airbnb has had a no party policy in place since 2020, and the company says new technology is making it even harder for rule breakers to rent homes.
This is a party. This is the alley being blocked.
Mission Beach has seen its share of out-of-control parties, many inside homes rented for holiday weekends.
I've seen it, and I've seen less of it since the new policies.
Rob Brown is a real estate broker who lives in Mission Beach and owns rental properties there. He supports any effort to curb large parties, saying they disrupt neighbors and can lead to costly damage.
None of my clients I've sold these things to want their vacation home trashed.
Ahead of Memorial Day, Airbnb is expanding its anti-party technology nationwide. The system, which uses AI, flags certain booking attempts, like 1 or 2 night stays in entire homes, especially if they're last minute or made by people who live nearby. It also looks at guests without positive reviews or have no reviews at all. Guests who raise red flags may be blocked from booking or redirected to other options.
We look at all these different signals and factors to determine how much of a risk a particular booking might be for an unauthorized party.
Last year, the technology blocked 11,000 bookings across the country, including 70 in San Diego County. As a result, less than 0.06% of stays led to a party report.
This is something that, while rare, we take very seriously.
Airbnb senior communications manager Javier Hernandez says even with the policy working, the company is reminding guests of the rules, including that adult account holders can't book for minors unless they're present for the entire stay. Anyone who breaks the rules could lose their account and be held financially responsible for damage. And hosts who allow parties, knowing they can likely charge more, aren't exempt.
Our policy banning unauthorized and disruptive parties applies to all users on our platform, including hosts.
Back in Mission Beach, Brown says while the policies have helped, so is the price tag.
When I moved to Mission Beach in 2005, when you could rent an oceanfront place for like $2 or $3 grand for a week, and now it's like, $10,000 for a week. And you see a lot of 3-night minimum rentals in the $5,000 range, 4th of July. So that kind of like prices out some of the young kid partiers as well.
Shannon Handy, News 8.
And now firefighters from across the county are preparing for the battles they hope that never come. They're sharpening their life-saving skills, running emergency simulations, and training side by side in rugged, wildland terrain. I mean, look at these conditions. News 8's Brian White takes us to Verona for a front row seat inside this intense training.
Yeah, they've got an important job protecting people and communities year-round. This annual training is all about getting ready, getting prepared ahead of peak fire season. For 3 days in Verona, more than 700 firefighters from agencies across San Diego County are working through realistic wildland fire scenarios. Laying and connecting hose lines up steep hillsides, defending structures, and coordinating helicopter water drops from above.
We're trying to get people to get experience and to get out into this wildland environment, to be placed under a little bit of pressure and to solve problems as they come along.
This county-wide wildland drill has been happening for nearly a quarter century, bringing together local fire departments, CAL FIRE, the U.S. Forest Service, and law enforcement agencies to train side by side before the next major wildfire strikes.
They're actually going out there and laying hose, coupling hose, extending it, squirting water. They have the hand tools, they're cutting brush, making fire break lines.
Yeah, you're going to be on the platform right there.
The goal is building teamwork and trust before firefighters meet on a real fire line.
No single department is going to handle a large event like this on their own, so we need to work together.
This year's training also included firefighters from Tijuana observing techniques they can bring back across the border.
It's an effort for them to come and see what we do, how we do it, and then replicate it in Mexico.
Caesar, double time.
And as fire danger ramps up across the county, crews say preparation isn't just important for firefighters, but for homeowners too.
You got to start preparing yourself before the fire comes. So when the firefighters do arrive, they know that this house is defensible and that they can protect it.
In Verona, Brian White, News 8.
All right, glad they're doing that training, but let's hope, they never have to put that to work. Now to a fight over housing development that's boiling over in Encanto. Encanto residents are sounding the alarm about a proposed development using a loophole they say goes against a longtime promise made to their community. News 8's Steffi Roche working for you, speaking with those in the neighborhood, the city, and the county about this project.
Encanto resident Kenny Key has lived next to this house since the early 70s. The lot has been empty except for these radio towers for as long as Key has lived here. He tells me for decades the property was zoned for a park. But all of that changed during COVID, when Key says the residents were notified that a developer was looking to build on the property.
And we were just blown away, shocked. That can't be. So some of our people in the Choice Valley Community Planning Group did their due diligence and uncovered footnote 7.
Right now, there are currently 2 development projects moving forward in the Encanto Neighborhoods Community Plan area that utilize the provisions of footnote 7, including this project off Old Memory Lane. The city tells me the Old Memory Lane development proposes 110 market-rate dwelling units and 13 affordable for-sale dwelling units. Footnote 7, part of the city's land development code, reduced the minimum lot size for single-family homes from 20,000 square feet to 5,000 square feet. In March of last year, following resident concerns, the San Diego City Council voted to repeal footnote 7. But a spokesperson for the city tells us that both of the Encanto projects are still able to move forward utilizing footnote 7, as their permit applications were deemed completed before the rescission of footnote 7 from the municipal code.
And they want to bury our history. They want to bury our heritage up here.
In March of 2024, the residents received this notice shared with News 8 that says the applicant for the project is D.R. Horton of Los Angeles. In November of last year, the Planning Commission approved the project. But just last week,
we noticed crane activity, and crane activity requires permits.
Which is why Key, residents, and Eric Law, an organizer for San Diego United Communities, a group working to help the residents, met Saturday. The meeting comes after the Choice Valley Community Planning Group formally pushed back against the project on December 1st of 2025.
So that group filed an appeal, as is their right, an appeal to prevent permits from being granted.
The city tells me an appeal hearing date on the project and environmental determination is expected this summer.
And the city tells News 8 that an appeal hearing date on the project and environmental determination is expected this summer. We did reach out to County Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp. In a statement, she tells us, quote, there will always be disagreement about development, whether it is tiny homes for people experiencing homelessness or market rate single family housing. As elected officials, our job is to respond to regional growth and expand economic opportunity. That includes making housing more available for everyone. Still ahead here, some used cars are now costing more than brand new models. What's up with this? What you need to know if you're shopping for some new wheels. And later on, is your supplement stack really boosting longevity? The questions to ask yourself before you spend that money. Welcome back. You may have noticed there are new signs right there along the Coronado Bridge bike path. They are giving people a preview of what a future suicide prevention fence would look like. The goal is to stop people from jumping, something survivor Steve Bouchard says would have saved him from a decision he regretted instantly. Bouchard jumped from the bridge in 1987. He survived, but not without serious injuries.
But to have a barrier like that and the design that they've come up with, I feel very confident that it will prevent future attempts.
On the stainless steel mesh barrier is expected to begin later this year. If you or someone you know is struggling, call or text 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you're shopping for a car right now, experts say there's one number that you need to pay close attention to before you buy: the original manufacturer's suggested retail price at MSRP. News 8's Alex Lai working for you and shows us why some buyers are paying premium prices for used vehicles.
For years, the rule of thumb was simple: buy used, save money. But in today's car market, that logic is breaking down. Some used vehicles are being listed for higher than their original MSRP price. And in some cases, experts say it's better to just buy new. Car shopping ranks somewhere between a trip to the DMV and a visit to the dentist for many people. And now there's another headache to deal with.
In some cases, it's not hundreds of dollars, it's thousands of dollars more.
Ray Shefska is the co-founder of Car Edge, a platform designed to help shoppers navigate the car market. He says the trend can be traced back to the COVID-19 pandemic, when chip shortages and low inventory sent both new and used car prices soaring. While prices have cooled somewhat since then, he says the market still hasn't returned to normal.
There's just been this ongoing shortage of high quality, lower mileage vehicles, 1, 2, 3-year-old vehicles, for the last 4 or 5 years, and it will probably continue until the end of this decade.
He says it's especially noticeable on sites like Carvana and CarMax and with Toyotas. For example, the auto site Cars Direct reports many 2025 Toyota RAV4s are already sold out at dealerships, even as the new 2026 model begins rolling out. Part of the reason the new RAV4 will only come as a hybrid, so some drivers are scrambling to buy the older version before they're gone. Experts say that high demand, combined with low inventory, is pushing prices even higher. CarMax tells News 8 that model may be part of a unique supply and demand backdrop. And in some cases, buying new may actually make more financial sense. Shefska says even if a new car costs slightly more upfront, buyers could still come out ahead with the perks that come with buying new.
You have a full factory warranty of 3 years, 36,000 miles, and you can get a better interest rate.
So before signing any papers, Shefska recommends comparing prices online, checking the original MSRP, and even shopping outside your region where inventory may be higher and prices lower.
Southern California, for instance, Toyotas are so popular.
So while car shopping may not be your version of fun, experts say a little extra research could save buyers thousands. Alex Lai, News 8.
And now anyone who commutes in North County, well, you know how frustrating traffic can be around Oceanside, right? But a plan to fix that is not going over well with some drivers. So stay with us. We have a lot more to come here, including the plan that's being considered and why this is getting pushed back. Welcome back to our Working For You special. If you've driven Interstate 5 through North County, you know the interchange there at the 78 can bring traffic to a crawl no matter what road you're on there. Sandag and Caltrans recently held a public meeting in Oceanside laying out proposals to ease that congestion, try to improve safety. News 8's Steffi Roche working for you and attended the meeting to see what's being considered.
Slow crawls, traffic backups. North County drivers are all too familiar with the 5 and 78 interchange. But not everyone is on board with plans to fix it. Residents filled South Oceanside Elementary School for Wednesday night's meeting as Caltrans and Sandag presented their proposed updates to the 5 and 78 interchange in Oceanside. They say the goal is improving traffic flow, safety, and access to nearby communities and beaches. Caltrans says the project could include new connectors, managed lanes, and improved bike and pedestrian access through the area.
Oh, hey, ho, ho, highway extension's got to go.
But not everyone is on board, including Casey Gupta, a high school student and youth transportation lead for San Diego 350.
The community here is in strong opposition to this project because it would be building these massive ramps or redirecting traffic onto local roads in front of an elementary school where 60% of students are eligible for free lunches.
Right now, the project is in its early stages, with Caltrans beginning the environmental review process. Caltrans expects to release a draft environmental document around 2028 before any final design or construction begins.
Hold on a second.
Highway extensions got to go.
I'm doing an interview.
Oceanside resident Augie Alvarez lives near the interchange and worries that the project would push more traffic through his neighborhood.
So to go through all of these little areas, you're just putting everybody in danger.
While commuters may be eager for relief, the process could take years, and that's why Sandag and Caltrans want to hear from you.
We want to know whether they like our ideas that we came up with or whether they didn't, whether they know some local knowledge we don't. Maybe they have more familiarity with some of the challenges that they're facing here that we don't, because they live right here. So at the end of the day, we need this information so that we can shape the solutions to actually meet the community's needs.
Meanwhile, the 45-day scoping period will end on June 13th. For now, reporting from Oceanside, I'm Steffi Roche, News 8.
And now an iconic San Diego restaurant is back open for business. Oh, look at that crowd. Las Cuatro Milpas opened last Tuesday in a new location. Customers were there before 4 in the morning. We had them on our morning show out there to show their support, wanted to show the family that they are happy they're open. This new spot there in Barrio Logan is just a few blocks away from the original location on Logan Avenue. And now in its third generation, the grandkids of the original owners are keeping the legacy alive after 92 years in our community. And yeah, a lot of people lined up for that, and I'm sure that line will just continue daily. They have some great food there. Everything is getting more expensive, including your upcoming cookout. Up next, we're going to show you where you might be able to save some money. Americans spend a staggering $60 billion a year on these supplements. Now a trend growing called supplement stacking, that's growing. People take multiple supplements every day with the goal of boosting strength, their energy, even their hair and nail growth. But medical experts warn that stacking does come with some risks.
The key is you need to ask yourself, what are you deficient in? If you have a deficiency, vitamins are super helpful and there's a role for them. But if you're not treating a deficiency, you could potentially develop toxicity, too high a level. And actually, there are reports of different vitamins causing liver failure, the opposite of what you're looking to have happen as a result of too much.
Okay, so according to the CDC, some supplements are commonly needed for different parts of our life, including folic acid for pregnancy, calcium for bone health for women over 50 and men over 70, and B12 for older adults and for those following a vegan or vegetarian diet. But always consult with a doctor before you take any supplements. Now, Apple pushed out updates this week for iPhones and iPads. You may have seen those. And the company says you should install them now. The updates fix security flaws tied to Wi-Fi and the Safari browser engine. The newest version also turns on end-to-end encrypted RCS messaging, meaning your text to Android users get the same privacy protections as iMessage. General Motors will pay a nearly $13 million penalty for selling California driver data without consent. It's the largest settlement under the state's Consumer Privacy Act. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says GM misled OnStar customers and made $20 million sharing driver data between 2020 and 2024. That included names, locations, driving habits, and contact information. Under the deal, GM must stop selling driver data to consumer reporting agencies for 5 years and submit privacy reviews to the state. Honda and Ford have reached similar settlements. Memorial Day weekend is coming close, and this year the holiday getting more expensive for all of us. Gas in California averaging more than $6 a gallon, and grocery prices are up from a year ago. News 8's Abby Black working for your wallet with what it'll cost you during the holiday weekend.
Memorial Day is just weeks away, and those backyard barbecues, beach days, and coming home to cool off is going to cost you more this year.
It's horrible. Everything has gone up. There's not one thing I haven't bought that hasn't gone up.
Families are getting hit everywhere, at the pump, at the grocery store, and housing.
It's very hard. I mean,
personally, I sleep in my truck. I mean, I don't know how a lot of people are making it out here these days.
If you plan to barbecue this Memorial Day, propane is up and so is beef. The USDA reports that retail beef runs about twice the price of pork and 4 times the price of chicken.
We just bought some meat today, and it was just, oh, goodness gracious. It's just outrageous with the prices right now.
And if you plan to drive anywhere, AAA reports that the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in San Diego today is $6.18. That's $1.38 more than this time last year.
And every day I look up, I'm like, how much is it going to be this day? You know, $80 to fill up my tanks.
Gas is horrible. You don't want to go anywhere out of town because you can't afford the gas.
Experts like Kate Gordon, a former senior advisor to the energy secretary under President Biden, points to tariffs, the Iran war, and ongoing inflation.
We don't see any price relief in there, even if magically tomorrow we were to see the Strait open and the flow starting again. You're talking about multiple ships that are backed up. These take weeks to get to their destination.
Working for your wallet, we found that you can skip the burgers and go with pork or chicken at the grill. Head a bulk store if you can, and before you gas up, use a price tracking app to find the cheapest station near you.
You got to look around and see what you can get on sale, if there's anything on sale. But it's still, even when it's on sale, it's still pretty high.
Working for your wallet, Abby Black, News 8.
Okay, so good luck as you're getting ready for the Memorial holiday, all that shopping. We know it costs a lot. We are so glad you're joining us here on News 8. That is going to do it for us for your Working For You special. And remember, if there is something you want us to look into, here is the email right there on your screen, workingforyou@cbs8.com. I'm Neda Iranpour. Have a wonderful day.